This is Countdown to Economic Collapse, May 27, 2012. I'm David Jon Sponheim, running for president under America's Third Party. Our nation is entering a convergence zone, where economics and politics are beginning to converge, where the mistakes of the Obama administration are beginning to become self-evident. Jay Carney, the press secretary for the Obama administration, has stated that the Republicans are inaccurate, that they're slothful in their appraisal of Barack Obama's spending. But let's look at the facts and how Barack Obama has way outspent over Bush in the previous administration.
As an editor might say, to check it out, they do not buy into the BS that you hear about spending and fiscal constraint with regard to this administration. I think doing so is a sign of sloth and laziness. In the post-war era, the only two presidents under which the size of the federal government shrank, not Reagan, not Nixon, not Bush or Bush, Clinton and Carter. How could that be? Well, it's a fact. Next time, there were elections by a Republican member of Congress who voted for all of the budgeting measures under the previous administration. Remind them of that record.
Now, is our country wasting money left and right under Barack Obama? The answer is clearly yes. Look at the chart that came out of the monthly Treasury report, and it will show you that Barack Obama's spending has increased and the deficit has increased dramatically under his administration.
You're now looking at the Financial Management Service, a bureau of the United States Department of the Treasury, in which they produce financial reports of the United States government. 2011 is the most recent. These numbers gradually increased under Barack Obama, as you can see. And we haven't even concluded what 2011 was like with the real net operating costs, but it was up there like 2010. So clearly his spending has increased.
Now this belies a deeper problem, where he's completely out of touch with his spending, and his own press secretary is beginning to say things that are completely out of school. Many people are wondering what he's smoking. Well, the reality is the American people have not had their day in court with Barack Obama. He has willfully avoided questions about his birth certificate, of his citizenship, his selective service document. All of these things are in question all around the nation. And the mass media has effectively kept the dialogue defined and not entered into the discussion of the birth certificate, which is extremely important at a time when this man is seeking another 4 more years. Now, if he gets those 4 years, the destruction to our economy will be permanent. We will have a hard time rebounding. You see, he won't be running for re-election the next 4 years. He will be derelict of his duty in the forthcoming years, and that will make it impossible for our economy to recover from a bad president who has obviously defrauded the American people. Now, some people are wondering, where's the evidence? Well, the evidence is outstanding right now. We are seeing a screen capture of the internet in 2007. As you can see, this was published at his literary agent's site. This image showed that he admitted he was from Kenya. Now, his publicist claimed that that was just some minor error. There's no way his publicist could even remember when this was published around 2001. So it was out there till 2007, and we're finding out that he willfully changed it to Honolulu, Hawaii, right after that fact. Now that is the smoking gun we've been waiting for. This, along with issue.Vote, the expert on documents, has presented to the FBI a complaint, a 28-page complaint about Barack Obama forging his birth certificate. That, compiled with the entire cold case posse that Joe Arpaio of Arizona has put together, we see that he's found that the birth certificate is a forgery as well.
Upon close examination of the evidence, we are prepared today to say we believe probable cause exists indicating that forgery and fraud may have been committed, not only in President Obama's long-form birth certificate, but more disturbing evidence suggests that another fraud may have been committed regarding his selected service registration card.
All of this raises questions about what and who Barack Obama is. Now, was he involved in the death of 3 men in Chicago around 2007, men that he knew at the Trinity United Church? Was he involved in the Down Low Club, the DLC, as they have been known to call it? We don't know, but we'd like to see discovery, and I think the American people deserve answers if we're going to elect a man for another 4 more years.
Meet Donald Young, the choir director at the Trinity United Church, a close friend, intimate friend of Barack Obama. His mom fears her son was slain to protect secrets of the pal who became president. What is the true story here?
A man who worked as a choir conductor and school teacher is found shot to death. The victim, 47-year-old Donald Young.
Spokesperson Dennis Cole told us Young had just finished a double master's in early child education and math. His ambition was to become a school principal.
And perhaps the strangest connection of all, Larry Sinclair, a person who claims that Donald Young contacted him right before he died in December of 2007, asking Larry Sinclair not to talk about Barack Obama's drug use in 1999.
In mid to late October 2007, I received a second call from this Mr. Young, at which time I clearly became aware that this individual was personally involved with Senator Obama rather than just an employee of his campaign. The tone of the conversation had a sexual nature. Mr. Young did not once advise me how he obtained my phone number, which by this time had now changed to a Delaware number. In late October 2007, I received a text message from the gentleman identified as Mr. Young, in which he stated he was intimately involved with Senator Obama and that Obama was discussing with him and his pastor how to publicly acknowledge Senator Obama's drug use in 1999, and that Obama wanted to be sure I had not discussed the sexual encounters or drug incidents with any media at that time. In mid to late November 2007, in another text message from Mr. Young, he advised me that Senator Obama will publicly correct his statement as to the last time he used drugs, and I did not need to concern myself with publicly disclosing it myself. The last contact I had with Mr. Young was in early December 2007, when he made it clear to me that Senator Obama had no intentions of publicly acknowledging his 1999 use of crack cocaine, and that Mr. Young was in fact doing nothing more than milking information from me for Senator Obama's use. I later learned that A. Donald Young, the choir director of Reverend Wright's Trinity United Church of Christ, Obama's now former church, and who was openly homosexual, learned that he was murdered on December 23rd of 2007.
Here's another friend of Barack Obama from the Trinity Unity Church, Larry Bland, and Nate Spencer. Both died of mysterious deaths. Here are the death certificates of Donald Young and Larry Bland. You'll notice that they both died of fatal gunshot wounds, execution style. Who really killed these men? And let's not forget Grandmother Dunham, who died in Hawaii right after Barack Obama visited her on her deathbed. What did she know about Barack Obama's history?
Now, Mitt Romney is unable to take on the champion goal of finding out about the birth certificate. He is unable to even address the issue as an important issue in the campaign. That shows you how the two parties have virtually joined at the pocketbook. And it turns out that Bain Capital, employees from Bain Capital have been giving donations to Barack Obama. Imagine that. You see, they're both fused at the pocketbook and unable to separate. And this is why the two-party system is a duopoly, a one-party system which controls the entire body politic of American politics as we know it. If we don't do something to break out of this mold real quick and get honesty and truth back into government, we're going to be, unfortunately, the victims of a cavalcading scenario. People are losing faith in the economy. The IPOs that are sprouting up all over the place may just be the dot-com burst that's coming. The idea that people are investing in companies like Facebook. Already they've lost $7 up to $9 on their stock in the past week and a half. We're seeing this entire thing tumble down into a depressed economy, unable to gain profit and income for the citizens, and then wanting to tax our citizenry, like Jerry Brown of California is asked to do. Or people within Obama's cabinet are talking about how we need more taxes. And even the Republicans are starting to get soft on more taxes. We don't believe at America's Third Party that we should extend the debt. We believe in a pay-as-you-go plan so that our country can be accountable and we can get a zero deficit in 2013. We're entering a time when two people are running for president nearly 5 months out from the election, as if the entire race is defined by just two people, when we are supposedly a democracy, or at least in theory. We are supposedly a republic, or at least as long as our Constitution can uphold its rights for the citizens of America. But what we're seeing right now is that a president has essentially deceived the American people in the worst way. And we have to figure out how we're going to piece this all together and move forward as our economy continues to wane, where the policies of Barack Obama, the failed foreign policy of Barack Obama, is beginning to affect our economy. The oil embargo against Iran is definitely raising the price of fuel at the pumps. And we are seeing an overall tendency of his engagement in foreign wars, where Libya, Syria, Tunisia, Yemen, all these countries that we're involved in have turned into rebel states. The issue is Obama and his future as your president. And if we don't look into vetting this man right now, at this crucial juncture toward the election, 5 months out, we will find ourselves with another 4 more years of this mistaken, illegal president who has done nothing to rebound our economy and virtually has turned other countries against us with bad, failed foreign policy. Now, I want to remind you that John McCain wants more action in Syria. Now, that's not something I support. I'm against more intervention in world events. I believe that our country can become more solid as a nation if we protect our own borders and not become involved in foreign wars. Unlike John McCain and the Republicans, I don't support Arab Spring. Unlike Barack Obama, I do not support an Islamist state forming all around the world. I believe that this country can continue working on its own path toward progress and just lead by example toward renewable energy, green, efficient vehicles that will help our nation become energy independent. I believe our country can pull out of this downturned economy with new growth, productivity, and jobs for Americans. I urge you to get behind what we're doing at America's Third Party. Visit us on our weekly blog TV show every weeknight and engage, talk about what you'd like to see in the coming years in this nation. I'm David Jon Sponheim, and I support this message.
ATP.